friends, welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to show you all 4 of my most used tips and tricks or crochet hacks that I always use for every single one of my projects. And I honestly don't even think about using these tips and tricks anymore. They kind of just come natural to me. Just wanted to come on here and share with you all because I know I have a few crochet beginners on here, so just a little tips and tricks to help everyone, and also just a little reminder for anyone who is an advanced crocheter. I know some of us forget about these tips and tricks a lot, like myself, so it's always good to refresh ourselves with some of these things that we can reuse and get used to using them in our every crochet projects. So yeah, also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys are letting me know that you guys like these videos, what you guys want to see more of, and let's get into it. Alright, so before we get into the tips and tricks, I just wanted to show you guys that I will be using a worsted weight yarn, which is this number 4 medium weight, and I will also be using a 5mm crochet hook. Alright, so the first tip that I will be showing you all will be how to crochet into the back loop of your chain. So generally when you start a new project and they ask you to chain a certain amount of chains to start your crochet project, technically you always go into that very first front loop or front post of your chain, and generally this creates a tighter foundation chain for your work to start in. So to make a bit of a stretchier foundation chain, you can go ahead and crochet into the back loop instead. So here I am showing you guys how people generally start their projects by going into the front loop, but to go into the back loop, just go ahead and turn your work over, and you'll go ahead and notice these like back bumps that I'm going to be pointing out to you guys. And these back bumps are what you guys are going to want to put your hook into and crochet into. And honestly, if you make your chains a little tighter, then it'll honestly be a little tough to get your hook to go into the chains at first. But it is definitely possible, trust me. Looking at the bottom of your projects, it just looks a whole lot cleaner and your work is a whole lot stretchier, especially if you're starting a project for something that you'll be wearing, like a jacket, cardigan, or some sort of clothing item. But yeah, definitely try this one out. You will definitely be thanking me later. Alright, so this next tip that I will show you will be called the foundation chain single crochet. So a lot of times projects will ask you to make a chain and then make a row of single crochets all the way back. And this is a little hack to avoid all of that all at once. And basically, after you make your slip knot, you will make 2 chains, and in that very first chain you are going to insert your hook, and you are actually going to go through both top loops. So both top yarns, just like this. And after you have both loops on your hook, you will go ahead and bring up a loop and yarn over, and you will pull through only one loop. So after you do that, go ahead and yarn over and pull through both loops. And now you will have 1 single crochet or 1 foundation single crochet done. And to extend this single crochet foundation, go ahead and insert your hook back again into those first 2 loops from your foundation chain that you previously made. It should look a little like this, so you can tell that I have both loops up on my hook. And you will yarn over and bring up a loop, yarn over and bring it through 1 loop, yarn over and bring it through both loops. So again, that will be your second chain, and you can keep this going on for as long as whatever amount of single crochets that your project requires. So this can literally go on for forever, but that's basically how you do a foundation chain single crochet. And I feel like this is very useful, especially because having to make all of those chains and then go all the way back and make single crochets in each and every chain can be a little annoying, honestly. So using this technique makes you work past all of that very quickly. And yeah, I just feel like it looks a lot neater as well sometimes, but yeah. Alright, so for my next tips and tricks, I will be showing you how to take a single strand of yarn and turn it into some chunky yarn. And I love using this hack because you don't really have to go out and buy specifically chunky yarn to do your projects. You can take whatever yarn that you like, especially in the material or like color of blend, and literally make that your chunky yarn. So what I do is go ahead and take a slip knot. And after I take my slip knot, I go ahead and instead of going and chaining into that like slip knot, I go ahead and pull up my yarn as far as I can. And then after I go ahead and pull up my yarn, then I go ahead and tighten the slip knot. So you should end up having something a little like this. And I honestly love it because it is so much easier to make chunky yarn instead of having to join 3 whole different skeins of yarn into one as well. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy this one. I use it almost all the time for tons of projects, so it's very useful. And once you've crocheted as much as you can, and now that you're at the end of your 3 strands, go ahead and into that loop that you can hold, go ahead and put the remaining longer strand of yarn through that loop, just like this. And again, pull the yarn as much as possible that you can. And once again, you will continue to repeat this over and over again whenever you need some more chunky yarn. Alright, so for the last tips and tricks, I will be showing you all my favorite method of having a seamless cut and tie off. So essentially I'll be showing you all how I finish my pieces to make it seem like as if you can't really tell where you tied off your project and where you started like sewing in your end. And basically I'm just going to go ahead and bring up all of my yarn and go ahead and grab any darning needle. I really love using the metal ones, but I couldn't find it, so I'm using my big old plastic ugly one for now. But go ahead and go into the very first chain or stitch, and mine would be right here where I'm pointing at. So now I'm going to be inserting my needle through from the back to the front through both top loops, so just like this. Alright, so now that we've pulled it up all the way through, you can go ahead and tell where my yarn just came from, which is right here in this loop that I'm pointing at. And I'm going to go ahead and instead of going through both loops like that, I'm going just to go ahead and go through one loop. And then while I'm going through one loop, I'm also going in through another loop towards the back. So just like this. I know it's a little hard to get, but so just like this, and pull it all the way through. Alright, and now you can tell that if this basically creates like another chain without having to actually crochet another chain in there, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this is essentially how I love finishing my projects, because you don't have this like huge knot on one end or anything like that, and you can seamlessly weave in the end after this into the rest of your project. So I hope you guys enjoyed my 4 most used tips and tricks for crochet, and I hope you all start implementing them more into your guys' projects. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all in my next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!